evening. Nice to have you join us on the news at 5, reaching you from Channels Television's global headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria. I'm Dominic Iwiwa, and these are the stories and reports we're tracking at the moment. We start off with security, as the Kebbi State Police Command says it has recorded significant successes in its ongoing fight against crime, with the arrest of suspected terrorists, bandits, informants, and other criminal suspects across the state. Speaking during a press briefing in Birnin, Kebbi, the Commissioner of Police, Umar Hadieja, said the achievements were the result of intelligence-led operations carried out in collaboration with other security agencies, vigilante groups, and the Civilian Joint Task Force. As part of the successes recorded, police arrested suspected members of the Mamanduawa Boko Haram group and the Lakurawa bandit network in separate operations, rescued a kidnapped woman, recovered firearms and a stolen vehicle, and apprehended suspects linked to other criminal activities, including alleged sexual abuse. The police commissioner commended security partners and members of the public for their support, while reaffirming the command's commitment to protecting lives and property and sustaining the fight against crime across Kebbi State. Staying with security, troops of the Nigerian Army have successfully rescued 4 kidnapped victims in Katsina State during ongoing operations targeting a notorious bandit leader, Kachala Fulani, and members of his criminal gang. The state government made this known, said the victims, who regained their freedom during sustained military offensives in locations believed to be bandit hideouts, have received immediate medical attention for injuries sustained while in captivity. The latest breakthrough comes weeks after security forces rescued the wife of the late Major General Rabi Abubakar. The victims were among those previously seen in a photograph taken during their captivity alongside the late military officer. Residents were also assured that security operatives remain on the trail of Kachala Fulani and other criminal elements, and that operations will continue until those responsible are apprehended and brought to justice. Katsina State Governor Mr. Diko Rada has intensified efforts to tackle banditry and kidnapping through community-based security initiatives, engaging Islamic clerics and stakeholders in a strategic dialogue. The meeting, which held at the Government House Katsina, brought together religious leaders and other stakeholders to explore ways communities can play a more active role in supporting security efforts. Speaking shortly after the meeting, Governor Rada said the engagement was designed to seek the guidance and support of Islamic clerics in addressing the security challenges confronting many communities in the state. He announced that President Bola Tinubu has approved the recruitment and training of 1,000 forest guards for Katsina State.
We have been taking drastic measures in the state to address the issue of this banditry and kidnapping. Yesterday or today we have issued an executive order to stop certain activities in the state within which anybody who violated it he will face the law, and will take a decisive action against them, because there are people and certain things that aid the banditry and kidnapping. That is why in Matada and Musa local government we have banned the use of motorcycle, we have banned the use of POS machine, which aid the transfer of resources to the bandit, and other issues that I don't need to make it public in our effort to address the situation. And the sale of petroleum was banned in the whole of the state, not only in Musa and Matazo. So these are all measures that we have taken at our own level, which was as a result of the meeting we had with the community leaders who are within those affected local governments. And then I also met today with the clerics so that they can advise us in their own point of view as well. And we will continue to engage all the various stakeholders in the state to ensure that we get the necessary peace and harmony in the state.
The fight against insecurity appears to be taking a different turn on the battlefield and in the courts. Barely 24 hours after a Katsina State High Court sentenced to death a female arms courier arrested by the Department of State Services, the High Court in Kogi State has handed down a similar sentence to a man prosecuted by the service for kidnapping and murdering his neighbor, a hotel owner in Obajana. The judgment comes amid a series of high-profile convictions secured through DSS investigations and prosecutions. The Kogi State High Court, presided over by Justice Abdul Nicodemus Awulu, found Jibrin Halilu guilty of conspiracy and kidnapping under the Kogi State Kidnapping and Other Related Offences Prohibition Law 2023 and sentenced him to death. According to the prosecution, Halilu and members of his gang abducted Ever Ready Hotel proprietor Uche Ofo from Obajana in March 2023. Despite receiving a 2.5 million naira ransom from the victim's family, the kidnappers killed him. DSS investigations later led to Halilu's arrest and linked him to other kidnapping operations in the state. The Kogi and Katsina convictions follow a landmark judgment delivered on June 3, 2026 by a federal high court in Abuja, which sentenced 4 men to death by hanging for their roles in the June 5, 2022 terrorist attack on St. Francis Catholic Church in Owo, Ondo State. The attack claimed more than 40 lives and left over 100 worshippers injured. Security sources described the recent convictions as a strong signal that individuals involved in terrorism, kidnapping and violence crimes will be tracked, prosecuted and made to face the full weight of the law. The 17th prosecution witnessed in the ongoing money laundering trial involving the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, and 2 others, has told the court that the former governor was not involved in any of the property transactions before it. The witness, Shehu Bello Bala, made the assertion while being cross-examined by the defense counsel, Paul Daudu San. He also stated that the second defendant did not take part in any of the transactions, noting that one Farouk Bello acted as the agent in the dealings. Under cross-examination, the witness said he was aware that the title documents, including the deed of assignment and power of attorney, were returned to EFAB Estate by Farouk Bello. The witness further told the court that he had no personal or family ties with Ali Bello or Farouk Bello, and confirmed he was not from Kogi State but from Katsina State, where he works as a commodity trader. He added that he knew Ali Bello through business dealings involving grain purchases from northern Nigeria. He also confirmed that he returned the documents to the chairman of EFAB Estate after they were brought to him for a proposed property sale following Farouk Bello's death. Enhancing the operational capacity of all security and safety operatives in Lagos is top on a mandate. That's according to the Lagos State Security Trust Fund at a 2-day joint statewide exercise. Speaking at the event, joint statewide exercise in Lagos, the Director of Administration of the Interventionist Agency explains that the exercise will refresh participants with modern-day policing tools and update them on international best practices.
These are the 5th sets of security and safety officers trainees, always at alert to respond to any emergency in Lagos. Representatives are from various security body and levels, including the correctional officers serving in the state. It's a joint capacity building exercise put together by the State Security Trust Fund.
That is my opinion, sir.
Welcoming all to the interactive session, editorial member of the interventionist body speak on the need for the all-inclusive mentorship.
The security environment continues to evolve, presenting new challenges and require innovative responses, improved collaboration, enhanced professional competences. It is in recognition of this reality that Lagos State Security Trust Fund remains committed to supporting initiatives that build the capacity of our security personnel and foster stronger collaboration amongst agencies.
Some heads of agencies in attendance speak on the collaborative exercise.
Upholding ethical standard, kindly bear in mind it is essential to discharge our duties with fairness, integrity, respect for people's rights, and accountability.
Collaboration is the cornerstone of effective security management. When our agencies work together, leveraging each other's strengths, we create a united front that is far more formidable than isolated efforts.
I'm sure and confident that at the end of this training, we would have a better men out there to represent us and to keep Lagos safe, because we all know that the country is looking up to Lagos, and Lagos leads and other states follows.
The exercise is activity-filled as nutritionists, health and wellness facilitators turn the environment around, allowing for better interaction among the participants.
The food that you eat has stored as glucose in your body, and then your cell needs to use it as energy when needed. Whatever is not used is stored as fat or meat. So at night, the body is trying to repair itself, which is why sleep and post-meal rest matter deeply. A lot of us go to bed immediately after eating, which is not good for our health.
This training, the Trainer Mentorship Program, is expected to go a long way in equipping the officers to better handle security and emerging threats across the Lagos metropolis.
Women and youths from Ahiazu and Ehinete Mbise Federal Constituency in Imo State have staged a peaceful protest against an alleged plot to substitute the name of the winner of the APC House of Representatives primary election, Mr. Chukwudi Anyanwocha. The protesters described the alleged move as unconstitutional and contrary to the will and wishes of party members in the constituency. Addressing journalists during the protest, Chairman of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, Imo State Chapter, Humphrey Osuji, warns that any attempt to alter the outcome of the primary election could cost the APC victory in the constituency during the general election. He urges the party leadership to respect the outcome of the primary election and uphold the mandates given to the candidates by party members.
We have come to respectfully convey our position regarding the outcome of APC primary elections for Ahiazu and the Ehinete Federal Constituency, which was duly conducted on the 6th day of May 2026 in line with the constitution of our great party. We firmly believe that the outcome of that party primaries should not be tampered with, altered, or subject to any form of manipulation. The winner of that primaries remains and is Mr. Chukwudi Anyanwocha, who is distinguished leader, a youth who contributes immensely to the empowerment of young people and women across Ahiazu and Ehinete, and well known and widely appreciated. Through his various intervention and support initiatives, he has demonstrated a genuine commitment to the welfare and advancement of our people. We also come to make it abundantly clear that the rumors making the rounds regarding a possible change of our party's candidates to Ahiazu and the Ehinete Federal Constituency should remain nothing but rumor.
Nigeria's Minister of Works, Mr. Dave Umahi, has stated that several road projects for the southeast region were originally conceived during the colonial era but left unrealized for decades and now being brought to life under President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. Mr. Umahi highlighted the Calabar-Ebonyi-Benue Trans-Saharan Superhighway as a project of strategic importance to the southeast, south-south and parts of the north-central region.
The presidential tour of the southeast started from Abakaliki, the Ebonyi state capital, with the aim of bridging communication gaps and rebuilding public trust in the federal government. Led by the Minister of Works, Mr. David Umahi, the delegation, which comprises of presidential aides and news editors, made the first stop at the Abakaliki Efekbo section of the Ebonyi Cross Rivers Abuja Superhighway. The project, worth over 400 billion naira, is expected to stimulate economic activity across the southeast, south-south and north-central corridors.
We have 123.5 kilometers of Trans-Sahara route. That's the third legacy project of the president, running from Calabar That's joining the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, and then through Ndibe Beach, which we are going to see, that is ongoing, and then it goes straight to Benue border, and the cost is 444 billion. 50% is being paid by the president. So we have every reason to be obedient to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
The road also connects the Ndi-Ebe Beach in Efekbo local government area, which links the state to Cross River. The bridge is part of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway.
When some of the presidential aspirants say when they come, they are going to stop this project, I want Nigerians to watch them very well, and they pray against them, because these projects are investments. They are not just mere road construction, even though we are linking all the existing roads to these 4 legacy projects.
The team also inspected some projects of the state government, including a housing estate designed to reward civil servants in the state.
Core areas of the Renewed Hope agenda is Renewed Hope housing. Housing is critical. The housing deficit in our country is massive. To come here and see that the Eboyi governor is committing resources for housing, this housing estate is 90% ready. I think it's commendable.
The money that the central government is giving the states is really working. The governor told us today that, for instance, that in the past, after collecting FAC, he barely had enough, like 100 million, 200 million to do another thing. But now, you can see that states, and Eboyi State in particular, they are dreaming big.
It has shown clearly that Mr. President knew what needed to be done to unleash more revenue to the people. You won't hear of any governor not able to pay state their primary and secondary school, teachers.
The team also inspected the ongoing concrete pavement link road from Abakaliki, the Ebonyi state capital, to Ogoja in Cross River State.
You're watching the news at 51 Channels Television. Right after this break, we'll bring you more stories making the headlines at the moment. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Investments in aviation and innovative airfare financing are among factors that can make air travel more accessible and affordable across the continent. Rwandan President Paul Kagame says aviation investments should be viewed as a catalyst for economic growth and regional integration, while finance experts argue that sustainable financing models can help reduce pressure on airlines and ultimately benefit travelers through improved services and competitive airfares.
The push for a truly connected Africa is gathering pace, with leaders and industry experts insisting that the single African air transport market system can only succeed through bold reforms and strategic investments. Rwandan President Paul Kagame says investment in African aviation should be seen as a major opportunity to drive economic growth.
Investment in African aviation should not be viewed as a risk, but as a strategic lever that drives economic growth. Development banks, sovereign wealth funds, institutional investors, and private capital all have a role to play in this transformation.
Finance and aviation experts at the conference say access to modern aircraft and innovative financing solutions is critical for the survival and expansion of African airlines.
African airlines are suffering with double bind. First, they have very limited access to capital. We all know it. And secondly, they face very high, transaction costs to do their business.
We realized that the leasing platform was a solution that needed, such that airlines can have access to capital. Airlines needed access to modern fleets. They needed access to stop struggling for even these rentals.
Building capacity for the next generation of aviation professionals is also key.
How are the people, the pipeline of aviation professionals from Africa going to be developed in all of these domains? That is why we're pushing for this. That's why SATAM is so important, because it feeds into the African Union integration agenda.
With governments, financiers, and industry leaders rallying behind a common vision, stakeholders say the time has come to turn Africa's aviation ambitions into reality and make seamless connectivity across the continent a lived experience. From the Togolese capital, Lomé, Bukola Jo Uketumbi, Channels Television News.
And on business news, the Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Abdullahi Sabi, has flagged off the distribution of farm inputs to farmers in the Federal Capital Territory under the Renewed Hope agenda. Speaking at the event in Abuja, the minister said the intervention will provide FCT farmers with improved seeds, fertilizers, crop protection, chemicals, and other essential inputs. He stressed that timely access to quality inputs is key to raising productivity, cutting post-harvest losses, and hitting national food security targets.
Fertilizer to smallholder farmers across the country.
It's the turn of farmers in the federal capital to take part in the distribution of farm inputs from the federal government.
Can they clap a little louder for you?
The intervention is part of the Renewed Hope support to boost food security and income for farmers.
Here in the FCT today, 2,930 verified smallholder farmers will receive 11,790 bags of fertilizer to support the cultivation of priority crops, including maize, rice, and tomato within the FCT. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Farm Input Support Program is not a fertilizer distribution only. It is a targeted intervention support, as we've mentioned everywhere we've gone to. This program is designed to get fertilizer to the right farmers for the right crops and at the right time.
One of the targets of the present administration is food security. The plan is to grow more food for local consumption and exports while empowering farmers to meet that vision.
The focus on smallholder farmers cultivating less than 0.5 hectares is deliberate. These farmers form the majority of our agricultural workforce and are central to achieving national food security. By supporting them with essential inputs, we are empowering them to increase yields, improve incomes, and contribute meaningfully to the nation's economy.
The president of the All Farmers Association of Nigeria is excited at the gesture. He is asking farmers to come forward with the appropriate means of identification to avoid diversions.
I therefore wish to appeal to our distinguished VIPs and stakeholders to assist in ensuring that accountability and transparency in the distribution of the fertilizer to their nominated farmers. We urge full compliance with the documentation process for the distribution exercise.
Dignitaries then step out to flag off the distribution of the inputs to farmers. More states are expected to benefit from the intervention in the coming days. Sarah Achimugu, Channels Television News.
South Africa's annual inflation rate accelerated to 4.5% in May from 4% in April, pushing consumer price growth close to its highest level in almost 22 months as fuel and transport costs continued to ripple through the economy. Statistics South Africa said consumer prices increased by 0.7% month-on-month in May, with transport and housing and utilities emerging as the biggest contributors to headline inflation. The latest reading is creeping towards the 4.6 recorded in July 2024, which remains the highest annual inflation rate over the past 22 months.
Consumer inflation jumped to 4.5% in May from 4% in April. This is the highest rate of increase since July 2024, when it was 4.6%. The inflation surge was largely driven by fuel price increases. The fuel index recorded its second consecutive large monthly increase, leaping by 14.3% to reach an annual rise of 28.7%. Over the past 12 months, prices for petrol increased by 24.8% and diesel by 53.8%. The impact of higher fuel prices on overall inflation can be seen by looking at the index for the CPI excluding fuel. This index's annual change was 3.7% in May, the same as the previous month. This measure has moved in a narrow range between 3.5% and 3.8% over the past 12 months. The monthly increase was 0.2% in May compared to the overall CPI, which increased by 0.7% between April and May.
And that's where we drop the encore on News at 5 on Channels Television. For updates, kindly visit our website at www.channelstv.com. I'm Dominic Iwiwo. Up next is The World Today.